I'm Christine Escobar, mother of 4, raised in Boyle Heights. This podcast will not just help empower women, but help them find that inner confidence, fierceness, motivation, and path towards success. Whether it's life, relationships, business, or a push forward, together let's get inspired. This is Así o Más Claro with Christine Escobar.
Hey.
Hi everyone, we're back here in the city of Pasadena and back by popular demand. You guys requested him to come back. My first guest ever on Así o Más Claro, Mr. JP Peña.
Yes, thank you. I like coming here.
We got more fans today.
I know. We have a crowd here. I love it. and I love the setup. You know what? I have to say that from the last time we spoke to where you taking this now, and I mean, I don't even have a backdrop. Like,
it's pretty badass, right?
Dude, this is legit.
Look at that.
I need to step up my podcast game. Now you made me feel bad.
Well, that's thanks to my team. I gave them kind of like my vision of what I wanted, and this was my birthday gift.
Nice.
The night before, they were all here till like 11 o'clock at night and made this beautiful backdrop.
Where did you get the custom
Sign? I don't know. Did Ashley order it? Oh,
That's pretty dope. I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah. Anything you want. You could do yours.
I know. That would be sick. Mm-hmm. Emily, I'm hiring.
Okay, hire her like outside of after 5. She's actually
So, you know, people that work with me get a free trip to Cancun every year, just so you know.
Wow. No bribes on site.
Yeah, just you know. So it's been a great run. I see you've been busy, and
Yes.
I spoke to Philip this week. I hadn't spoken to him for a while, and he said a bunch of great things. So man,
He's awesome. I love him. He's pretty cool.
nice. So what else has been going on?
Well, let's see. We started this January. You were my first guest, and I think this is my 6th or 7th podcast. There was some breaks in between, just, you know, being busy with Gracefully FIERCE and getting it more out there. I really want to reach a bigger audience, so just trying to figure out how to do that.
Consistency.
Yes. Yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took a break, and it hurted me tremendously. And then I had CJ Sparks on, who's a former Playmate, Instagram model, and it shot like
What?
really high. And then I didn't do no podcast for like 3 weeks.
Wow, you thought that's enough. That's a good one for
No,
a few months.
I got busy, and, you know, it's just the market right now has been so crazy in real estate that, you know, I'm driving everywhere. I had to get rid of 2 agents, so it's sort of me taking over that. And it was just a lot of fucking work. And I was just like, man, I completely dropped the podcast.
Yeah.
And it hurts you tremendously. People don't realize this, but for one episode that you don't put up and you had people consistently,
Yeah, you lose your audience.
You lose your audience.
Yeah.
Then it's just like, oh, maybe they're not doing it anymore. You know,
Yeah.
maybe I'm going to go listen to somebody else. And there you go. So now it's going to be double the effort to gain that audience back.
Right. I think Emily and I were talking. It's just having a schedule, and whether I record weekly, but not, you know, put the podcast out weekly, at least I have backup, right? In case something happens, then let's post this one out, you know, put one up.
Are you using Calendly? Oh, no, you guys have a good setup on the calendar.
We do.
I have to say that was pretty good. I love the fact that, I mean, wow.
You got an invitation.
Not the invitation, but the question, the whole, what would you like to drink, the food. I mean, Emily, oh my God. Like,
We got it like that here.
I was just like, I'm about to quit my fucking podcast after reading that. I was like, I just sent a Calendly out, and it's like, book your session. But I will say what I did start doing, though, is anybody that reached out to me that I saw had some sort of value, I'm booking them. That's just what I'm doing
that's awesome.
now.
Okay.
So I have a few people lined up.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm booked out till July. And what I started doing is I just send them the Calendly link. Now you're sort of forced to know you have to perform. Because how are you going to cancel on somebody that already took the time to book it and say, well, I'm going to be in your show?
Yeah.
You can't. So it's not like you really got to unfuck yourself and be like, well, Thursday I got so and so coming.
love that.
So maybe that's one thing you could do, because it sort of forces you into getting in the routine of every week having a guest.
Yeah, because something will always come up. I've had like 3 different trips. May was ridiculous, and now June, I'm booked every weekend. It's just filling your plate, and it's like overflowing with things, but it's one of those things that has to be a non-negotiable.
Yeah, 100%.
It just has to be from now on.
And the other thing is, most people don't realize that this could be a great outlet, not only as a way of therapy, but of you communicating experiences, obstacles, adversities that help people through a process that they might be going in their life. So you're a mom, you're busy, kids are back in school, right? You got to deal with that. So now you're back sort of in this weird new setup of the world where we're post pandemic, and everybody's trying to get back to that life. Like, tell me about that. Like, what is that like for a mom? You get what I'm saying?
Gosh.
And people want to hear that. I mean, most people will relate. There's some people that are still kind of like, do I take my kids to school?
Do I not?
Do I not? Should they get vaccinated? Should they be getting poked in the nose every week to determine if they're eligible to go back to school or not?
It's
like,
craziness.
What's people thinking out there? Because at the same time, you have so many people that have feared to expressing that on social media, and will depend on a platform like this to just kind of, it doesn't mean that your opinion is what they have to do.
Right.
But at least gives them a sense of, okay, what's going on in the world?
I think the most important thing for me right now is doing what works best for my family, my household. Someone will say something, somebody else will say something. We all went through so much stress being home. Like, I got facial paralysis twice.
Wait, what is that?
Facial paralysis is when you lose all your facial muscles. They just become dormant on my right side.
So, like, it wouldn't move like the ones?
No, my eyelid wouldn't close at all.
What?
It was actually on my left side. My lip was crooked. Like, I literally had to drink from a straw, feed myself a certain way. I went to therapy. It was just the stress, right?
Wow.
And a lot of people don't know that, because I guess I do a really good job at hiding those things.
Yeah, I never.
But, I was even talking funny as if I had a stroke. So, crying spells with the kids, just that change. We were a family that was used to just getting out, sports, doing things with school, that it was really hard. And I think, people can be very judgmental of your beliefs, of things that you want. We were ready to go to school no matter what. It worked best for us, for my kids, especially my 7-year-old. He needed to go back to school. He kind of lost that touch with just being a kid and playing with things. And then, of course, media comes into play, the stupid iPads. Like, kids got lost, and it was their way of, I think, that was their outlet. They kind of lost that socialness to be around other kids. My kids didn't want to go anywhere, not even to go buy ice cream. They became like homebodies.
Wow.
And that's stressful, right? And it was stressful for me because, Willie would get up and he'd just leave to the office, where it's like, I'm stuck at home. I can't just leave. So we're happy to be back at school. We're going to do whatever we can to continue to have the kids at school. Luckily, at their school, they don't get tested.
Wow.
It's just one of those things. They go to a private school. But we need our routine. We drop them off at school, whether I'm here at the office or whether it's a day that we're home. It just gives us a balance.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
It's, we had the conversation if our kids were going to go back to school, and I told Lene no, because at their school, they are required to get tested every week.
Yeah.
And they have to get vaccinated. And
to return?
Yeah. And I said, no way.
Even at the young age of Camila?
Yeah. At Camila's age. So
Oh,
that's why I said, no,
wow.
that's
I
stupid.
thought it wasn't legal.
I thought it was from 12 to up.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, I don't want to be a part of that. And look, I respect people's decision. You want to
Right.
get vaccinated? Great.
Go for it.
Go for it. Nothing against, your decision to do that. But for me, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to put my kids through that.
Right.
And I went to her school to pick up some homework, some paperwork that the teachers, because they started the school already for Camila. And I get there, and there's this kid with a mask, a face shield, playing with himself with the ball. And I'm looking at this like, dude, how fucking sad is this? Like,
Yeah.
we have come to the point that a kid is playing by himself with a ball. And I asked the kid, I had to ask, I go up there and I said, why are you playing by yourself? And he said, because the school rule is that if you bring a ball, you got to play by yourself. You can't share.
Wow.
And I'm sitting here like, dude,
yeah.
What the fuck are we doing to these kids?
Well, it's changing their perspective of I play with another child, right? And to me, it's psychological. It becomes mental. You know, well, I can't touch that. You're already instilling in kids like being a germaphobe, not wanting to. Well, my mom said I can't be next to you. Yeah. Just that intimacy, of being next to a person, of sharing something. Like we're breaking that.
Yeah, and people forget that our bodies were meant to fight
diseases, bacteria, and viruses.
That's how your immune system works.
Yeah.
As kids, you got sick because you got exposed to all this stuff, but then you get over it.
All chorreados, all freaking.
That's exactly what it is.
We had so many germs, yeah.
And Camila has always been the super social, lovable, like she sees her friends, she wants to hug them. And there's been a few occasions we've been in the street and we've seen some of her friends and they would run like to try to hug each other and then they stop.
That's sad.
And they have to like look at us for approval. Yeah. Just if they could hug or say hi. And of course I'd be like, Mama, whatever you want. But then the mom would be like, no.
No.
And I'd just be like,
no, that's horrible. And especially being Latinos, right? As a Latino, it's innate in you. It's like, it's part of like another part of your body. You just go towards hug. Your body knows what to do. And now it's like, do I go forward? Do I not go forward? It's so uncomfortable. You have to read the cues, right?
Yeah. It sucks. We're in a whole different world. And
what is this doing to our future?
I know, right? And then the other thing now, it's, well, not to get all political here, but now you got all these emails that came out from, St. Fauci that basically state the opposite of what we've been told. And, now I want to see what's going to happen. How did this play out? And was this really taken to a level that it should have had never gone due to an error that, these people caused? And
I think we can be here all day and talk about all these things. But to me, what hurts the most and what makes me angry is that so many lives were lost. Whether there was something behind it, whether, it affected them, for if something was created or not. That's what angers me. It angers me because I couldn't do anything about it, right?
Correct.
Everything else, I think.
And the fact that it makes you question could have been avoided.
Yes, those are the things that scare me the most, right? That if this were to happen again, like how can I avoid it for my kids, for their future, right? But what bothers me too is, it's kind of like, let's wake up. When are we going to wake up? Because to me, if you're having, Christmas shopping during the holidays and no one is 6 feet apart, where there's lines and lines to go shopping, yet you don't have a school open, that to me that blows my mind.
That and the fact that you're getting free alcohol.
Hold on, I think Willie's is he trying to like break into our session here?
It's an intruder.
Hi, honey.
No, I'm actually back to back today. I don't have.
You didn't get the memo? He didn't get the memo not to disturb.
and the fact that, you're getting free beer, free donuts, free food.
Well, it's a bribe, right? To me, at the end of the day, our brains, they function a certain way, right? There's certain things that hit a certain part of our brain. Like you have your basal and the cortex. If you want to get technical anatomy here, we can do that because I love that.
I love that.
Certain things send certain information to your brain. Some things take longer to process. So think about it. Something enticing that looks good, your brain reacts to it automatically, right? So if someone tells you, we're going to give you $1 million, your brain, there's memory, right? It's not going to think, wait a minute. That sounds wrong. Wait a minute. This is going to hurt my body because it functions on memory also. So when you think of bribery, when you think of money, it takes you to a different place. So I think to me, the fact that they're using money and items to bribe someone, there's something behind it.
Yeah.
Because if a person has time to process and think about something, how is this going to affect me? What will it do to me in the future? You're not going to do it.
100%. I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, let's all, and I hate it when people say common sense. I'm a true believer that everyone thinks differently, right? It's based on who you are, where you've been, where you come from, your experiences. It's not like what's wrong with me. It's like what happened to me. That's the magic question. And there's people that have gone through things in life where they're going to jump to any opportunity.
Yeah.
They just are.
I agree. 100%.
And this country's taking advantage of it, right? Oh,
I like the fact that you're talking about the brain. I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm reading this book called Boundless.
oh, okay.
You have to read it. It's
Boundless.
Oh my
Emily,
God.
let's note that.
Yeah. Greenfield. His name is Greenfield. This guy does like ultra marathons. That's like, it's kind of like your David Goggins, but to a next level.
Wow.
Extreme. This guy's learned how to biohack his brain.
Really?
And it's crazy because we're talking about 75 hard.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this 75 hard challenge. I'm going to be done in 3 days. And it's helped me sort of look deeper into the way my brain works, my body works, my processing. How does that affect your business life? How does that affect, the outcome of a lot of things you want to do, right? And you brought in a good point that sometimes we rather take pleasure over stuff that we don't process accordingly and don't realize the end result that it could provide us. And we spoke about drinking. I haven't drank for 75 days. Well, 60 something here. It's going to be 75 days on Saturday. And I don't know if I want to drink again due to the fact that once you start realizing the potential, what you could achieve without having that substance in your body, it's fucking powerful.
Right.
It's insane. And you start thinking now.
That's the responsible part of your brain.
Yeah. Not the bad side of the brain.
Yeah.
But, I started thinking like, dude, when did I really start drinking? And what was the habits that I built based off of that? And you're a psychologist, right? Or you study?
Yes, I studied psychology. I have a
Okay.
degree in psychology.
So the crazy thing is that growing up, my parents did not drink. Well, my mom did, but she was a social drinker. Like,
Yeah.
she's a very responsible social drinker. My dad just absolutely hated people that drank.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like, no, like, you would like hate drunks.
Okay.
And my grandfather on my mom's side was a true alcoholic. He would get hammered. And I remember he would leave his beer out and me as a kid would go and taste it.
You were curious.
Yeah, just curious, right? And I always asked myself, I wonder if that was because I didn't like it. I never liked beer. And I was like, I wonder if that was the initial sort of like trigger that maybe said, I want more of this. Because when I turned 18, that's when it was like, I went full out drinking. Like, we would go through a whole bottle of Bacardi before we even went to the club.
Wow.
That was just like, it was a thing. You drink your whole bottle of Bacardi, now you go to the club. Then we went to the club and it was like 2 adios motherfuckers and a shot of Patron.
Well, that's like, I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but what's that? Not identity. What is it called? When you're pretending you're somebody else. What's the word? It's a certain word. Why can't I get it out? Somebody help me here. Hello, where are my people at? Imposter syndrome.
Let's see. I can't even spell
Okay,
that.
so imposter syndrome, this is what it is. You might have been that guy that never wanted to drink. You may have been that guy that pretended to be liked, right? To fit in. So we have to think about that. Because your mom didn't, your dad didn't, but your grandfather did, right? And at one point we have to think, sometimes we want to be liked, we want to fit in, we want to be popular, we want to fit in with the crowd. So what do? They drink. So, and sometimes we do it to numb certain things. Like you were just going through the motions of, this is what we do to party. So it's figuring that out. Did I do that because I really enjoyed it? I loved the feeling, or you were numbing yourself, kind of like to be buzzed through the motions of going out and being popular, but it's not who you were. Are we going somewhere? Like I see you thinking.
Well,
Are we having a breakthrough right now?
No, it makes you think.
It does.
Because, it's as the older you get, and I like to say this because not a lot of people admit to it.
Right.
It's like you realize how fucked up you are in certain shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, yeah.
people don't address it. And I've been one where I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll tell you, this is what I'm going through. I fucked up here. This is how I am. How do I fix it type thing. Mm-hmm. And these 75 days, well, 60 something. Fuck, I keep on saying 75. Like, Can't wait to get
You're almost there. See, mentally.
Yeah.
Mentally.
I like that.
You're sabotaging the days.
It makes you realize a lot of shit about yourself that I feel that I need work on. And once you start putting all that in perspective and you take in consideration your family, your kids, your goals, where do you want to be in life, where you are in life. Like 2 weeks ago, I had a really bad sort of, I don't want to say...
Like a breakdown?
Well, yeah, sort of, right now with the market being all crazy and all, I lost a couple clients, very high-end clients that I've been working since last year. And one of them was 26 years old. This guy had like 60 million in his bank account.
Damn.
And I'm seeing this and I'm just like, fuck, like, where did I fuck up? Like, where did I fuck up? Like,
well, the fact that you asked yourself that, you're at a different level. Most people will try to blame out.
100%.
Right?
Yes. Common nature of most people is blame somebody for the current result that you have without knowing that it's been your costs and decisions that have got you to that position, right? And so I asked myself, where the fuck did I fuck up? Like, how? And man, I went through a dark hole. Like, I went through a really dark hole.
Funk.
Yeah, it was like, and JP normally doesn't, I mean, this is why my podcast is called Fuck Yourself, because I normally don't like to go that route and I always try to find a solution, but it fucked me up and it took like 3 days. I was on this weird funk and I would go up to the rooftop, have my cigar, and I'm thinking there like, damn, like, am I a fucking like fuck up? Did I like not really achieve everything I wanted to achieve at the certain time that I expected it to? Was it because of my drinking? Was it because of my partying? Was it because, like, I just started going through all this list of everything that I fucked up on and started blaming myself for the current position I'm in. And I'm not in a bad position.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't see that.
We've been shaped to think that our failures is that we're fucked up or we fucked up, right? Instead of using failure or whatever happened as, okay, let me look at that. What could I have done different?
100%.
What could I change next? But it's, it took you 3 days, right? But at least you got out of it. Some people cannot get out of it.
And what people don't realize is that you're going to go through stages like this in your life.
Yeah, it's normal. I always say it's a funk because when people say I was depressed, depression has to be diagnosed by a clinical person, like a psychologist, a psychiatrist. You can't just say I'm going through depression, right? It's so easily thrown out there, just like, oh, they're bipolar. It has to be diagnosed, right? We all go through ups and downs. We all have moods. Doesn't mean you're bipolar. Because you're sleeping for 3 days does not mean you're depressed. Sometimes we're in a funk and we have to figure out how to get out of it.
True, 100%. And what I started doing is started calling some of my, like, I have a group of circle of friends that I could call and, just kind of, get some feedback. And I'm like, you know what, man, I got to just completely get my head out of this, right? And you start problem solving. And I like to work backwards. So I'm like, all right, like, where did this start? Okay, It started because I saw this and then this client left and this and that. And it was obviously a big commission. Let me work backwards, repaddle on this, right? And eventually the conclusion that I came to was the fact that, you know what? We live in a world currently right now where it's so much noise, it's so much status, and it's so much, it's a fucking cancer.
Yeah.
That you have to be a certain type. You have to fit in a certain way.
Yeah.
You
look a certain way.
Yeah, or else you're just not fitting in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we always hear the common theme of you just got to stop at some point giving a fuck of what people think. And I have done that. And it's been something that I always fucking preach to this day that, in order for you to break to that next level in your life, you got to really fucking stop giving a fuck about people.
Yeah.
And right when this is happening, I have a client call me, and this is a good friend. I think you met him, Aldo, the guy that owns the warehouse where we had the salsa.
Oh, yeah.
Calls me out of nowhere. And he says, I think I was briefly talking about you, where he's like, I fucking hate LA. I come to LA and there's all this fake fucking people. And I'm sitting with this guy and he's talking about all the new Ferraris he bought and all this shit and all this money he made. So he said, and excuse my French here, he goes, well, fuck. You want to see how big your dick is? He goes, show me your bank account.
Wow.
And then the guy couldn't take it out, and he shows him his bank account, and he says, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here. And then you start thinking, you're like, fuck, dude. People like that have ultimately achieved that sense of not giving a fuck whatsoever, to the point that they have fully done what they need to do for their fulfillment, not for somebody else's fulfillment.
Well, I truly feel that the new success is your own peace.
Yeah.
Right? Being at peace with what you look like, being at peace with your bank account, being at peace with what you have and you've created, not what someone else's perception of success is.
Where do you feel that the current, with social media now and the role that it plays?
We're going to need some tequila for that one. Where's my tequila at?
How does that, like in your perspective, obviously you have a psychology background.
Yeah.
Like, what role does that play for this young generation that are growing up seeing this?
We are fucking up the younger generation. It hurts me because, I have a daughter who's 12. She'll be 13 on Sunday. And, it's so important to keep your household how you want it to be, your morals and your values, right? Like, I'm the type of person where I can get up today and be casual, right? I'm in my Dodger gear, my hat. I have very little makeup on. Where, say, tomorrow I have an event, I'm going to get glammed up. I'm going to get ready. But I am not the mother that's teaching my daughter, you have to have surgery to look good and for people to think you're beautiful. I don't get ready every day. I don't make myself up. So she's growing up seeing that one day you can be glammed, one day you can look crazy, one day you look like someone that's cleaning the household. It's okay to be this person. You can be all of that in one. So I'm thankful, right, that she's grown up that way. But at the same time, I'm scared of her going to high school, right? Because you have no control of what others' households have taught them, right?
Yeah.
Like what friends, and of course, at one point, as a parent, you can draw the line of who's their friend or not, but you're not with them 24/7, and that's the scary part. It scares me to see young girls already. I'm 47, that in their 20s, they're getting Botox, they're getting this, they're getting that, and I'm thinking, what about when you're 47? What are you going to look like? That's scary to me because we're making women think, or society is that we can all be cookie cutter, and that's not reality.
And that sort of falls into where I was sort of going with this. That, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't go out there, kill it, fucking
No,
have
of
nice
course
things.
not.
Like,
Do it.
That's all. Fuck yeah. Like,
Yeah.
do it, but do it at your terms, not
Right, what someone's expectations are. I get it.
Expectations, or somebody telling you, fuck, this is the way it should be. If you don't do it this way, then you're
That's
fucking
wrong.
you're
Yeah.
fucked up, right?
Yeah.
And I get this a lot too, and it's funny because with my coaching clients, for example, they'll go through these phases where it's sort of like, man, I have my family against me. I have my friends that are telling me I'm not gonna succeed in this. And the thing that I always tell them is like, well, first of all, perspective is this is all mindset shit.
Yeah.
You're letting it fuck with your head.
Right.
In true reality, your
Right.
actions have absolutely nothing to do with what somebody's telling you, unless
Right.
mentally you let it affect you, and then that's going to be the outcome. But when it's a trauma that has been put in you from growing up, experiences, PTSD or whatever it is, that's a whole different factor, because
That's huge.
now we got to work even deeper on what the fuck is really going on. And what I see now is that, for example, my fuck up is like, okay, I'm at this level. How do I get to this level without me letting this fucking bug me? And sometimes it's not nothing big. It's just
Right.
stupid shit. It's sometimes marriage. But we all go through this fuck up, right? The thing is that you work on finding that solution, solve for X. But for most people now is, for example, I had a coaching client, a girl, and her thing was like, I don't look a certain way, I'm not going to be successful. And I have to work so I can look a certain way.
Yeah.
And I said, what the fuck?
Well, see, it's getting to the root of it, right? Like I'm reading things like that because I also have coaching clients, and I coach them where okay, let's figure out where you're at. Why are you thinking this way? What shaped you? We work on the root of it, because you can't coach someone to success. It's impossible if we haven't figured out what the root of how they're thinking now,
Yeah.
right? So I always work, let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about you. Let's get to know you. why do you have these ideas? What do you consider ideal? Things like that, because it's important, right? Like the question that I talked about, that I said, not what's wrong with me, it's what happened to me, right? That shapes you that way. And also is, everybody's worried about building empires. Fuck, build your freaking mind.
Yeah.
I truly am a true believer of that, because we're in our head all day, every day, right? Even in our sleep, right? We're in our head. So why not make that the safest, the purest, the most successful place to be, instead of worrying about other things? Like, that comes first to me more than anything. If my mindset is fucked up, how can I reach success? How can I reach happiness? How can I be a kinder person, a better person, if I'm not working on my mind, if that's the part that's screwed up?
Yeah, you're a Pisces, right?
I sure am.
Team Pisces.
Team Pisces, woo woo! And we're both wearing a Dodger hat.
Yeah.
We didn't get a memo. I didn't send a memo of gear. It's just a thing that happened.
Here's an interesting fact for you. Did you know that within the top 5 signs to become billionaires, Pisces is up there?
Ooh, then I'm gonna be a billionaire.
Yeah, I like that. And we are the number 1 on social killers too.
Social killers?
Yeah, like sociopath. Like serial killers.
I am not a killer, but I love those kind of movies.
It's funny. So,
but I will kill for my children. Let me say that again.
Again,
Soy
Pisces
una leona. Like, seriously, my claws. I call my, when I think of me, I think of survival of the fittest. If I had to survive something, I would do the impossible.
I'm telling you, Pisces are gangster. In fact,
I do like some gangster rap.
I don't know how I got into this whole thing where I was looking that up. And then I said, oh, damn, this is pretty interesting. Let me put most famous Pisces, right?
I am gracefully fierce.
And guess who came up?
Huh?
The Night Stalker.
I know.
Yeah.
He is creepy. I watched it.
He's a Pisces.
Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean we're related. I watched it because, I'm from Boyle Heights. Okay, can we do the clapping? Because I'm from Boyle Heights. Thank you. It all happened there. And just, there was these moments in the series that his face would just pop up and his eyes are pure evil. Like, sometimes you look at people and it's sad, I think, to even be saying this, but you look at them and they just give you this, like, I don't know, like se me enchina todo el cuerpo to even just look. Like, I'll have to turn away, like, oh my God, what was that? Some people just have that evil in their eyes again. But even someone like him, something happened to him.
Yeah.
And it's so sad that, I mean, it's crazy. Like, the signs were there. And he's a typical person that, I want to say, fell through the cracks. And I hate that terminology that is used in mental health.
But it's true, though. I mean,
it's so true. Even in the school system, it's there. Or like the little boy that was killed by the mother's boyfriend.
The one in Palmdale?
Oh, my God. Don't get me started on that one, because honestly.
Did you ever see the trial?
I did. That was someone's fuck up. I don't care.
The teacher reported
that little boy should be here right now.
I mean, so many people reported that, and yet
I'm sorry.
Nobody ever.
And as a former therapist, you're mandated by law to report anything. I used to service these little guys, twins, and yes, it's someone's household. I used to do in-home therapy, and I would smell marijuana when I would walk in, right? It's your home. You do what you want. But if I'm walking in and you're getting high, maybe before I'm coming in to service your children, I consider that, negligent.
Yeah. 100%.
And it would be negligent on my behalf as a therapist, because the best interest is the safety of the kids, right? So, I wrote a letter, and I no longer will give the service based on my belief. And yes, it's their home, but at the same time, I didn't actually see him, smoking, but I could smell it. It's that strong. So, what if before the kids wake up, he's getting high? It's a decision that I made. And I think whether you're a therapist or not, whether you're a neighbor, whether you're a parent to another, I mean, you're friends with another parent and you see something, you should be mandated just by being a human to report something.
100%.
It's, you know, and we don't know what people's households are going through, but at the same time is we have to think of children's safety.
I wonder if that guy's still alive.
I don't know. I keep hearing that when someone like that goes in, someone like that goes in jail, they get taken care of in there.
They're going to get fucked up.
And, you know, it sounds ugly to say that, but how could a person have gotten to the point, well, you know, the child is dead, but he's not.
Do you believe on the death penalty?
I do. I do because, you know, I have faith. I'm a true believer in that. Should everybody have a chance to find peace? Yes. But when you kill another human being and you are rightfully in your right mind, I'm sorry.
Can you forgive somebody that has killed a kid?
I can't. I couldn't. But that's me personally. I wouldn't. Nope.
There's a recent poll that said,
nope.
I think it was 62% of people said they would forgive him and give him a second chance.
I wouldn't. Because to me, if you're not psychotic, if there's...
That's beyond psychotic.
No. But listen to me. If you do not have... I mean, gosh, there's not even an excuse. It's just... I think as humans, to me, there's a very fine line, whether you have a background or not. There's a very fine line between being sane and insane. Something can trigger you. Something can take you to that, I want to say place or space that you're going to flip a switch.
So is there such thing as if you're not mentally right and you have trauma from the past, it was never diagnosed, you fall into the category of falling through the cracks, you rape somebody, you hurt them, you kill them, it's that still within that section of he's mentally ill, it came from something of his past, therefore let's diagnose that? Or is it still, fuck that, you know what you did, you still deserve to die?
I think, you know, some things are premeditated, right? Like, what's his name? Not Bundy. Is it Ted Bundy? Yeah. He was someone, think about it. He was obviously fucked up mentally. 100%. But how can he walk in and be charismatic and be able to romanticize a woman? That's having a right mind. He knew what he was doing, right? Or he would pretend his arm was broken and he'd walk to the beach, or my tires pop, for someone to help him. That's premeditated. When you can premeditate something, you're in the right mind. You thought about it. So for someone like him, no, I would not let that pass.
So what kind of history would he have had that would cause him to think that way? Because someone's not born.
No, you're
I'm gonna
not.
Be a killer.
No.
There has to be some sort of...
See, killers to me are made, right? Like,
so who is it to blame at that point? If they're made, is it the parents? Is it...
Well, most of the time is the parents, right? It's so sad. Our first sense of life, our first sense of being loved, our first sense of peace, security, of even being happy is our household. Imagine someone, like, as a little person, they know when someone doesn't like them. It's so sad. They know when someone's going to hurt them. So think about all of that and what that does. It has to do with your brain.
Yeah.
In PTSD, right? A lot of people only correlate PTSD to combat, to police, to things like that. PTSD comes from domestic violence.
Everything. Yeah.
PTSD comes from, being raped. It comes from so many things that people don't realize that. But, I was reading a book, and I forget what book. It's this man, he was in a former Marine, or I don't know where he was, but he started a relationship. And if he would walk outside, he was walking with this girl. He was trying to form a relationship with this girl. They would be walking, if he heard a motorcycle, if he heard like firecrackers, he would think he was in combat and he would hide. So it goes to the brain. The brain only remembers what it went through. It doesn't remember time.
That experience.
It doesn't remember, this happened to me 15 years ago. It just remembers, right? Like nostalgia, your senses, right? Like to me, when I smell alcohol or when someone's super drunk, my whole body, I stiffen. Like I get a little rigid. I don't like it. It reminds me of just certain situations. It reminds me of my dad when he'd come home and he wanted to wake us up and just talk and just like, I still like, I'm doing this right now. Like I'm moving I
see that.
My elbow, or sometimes like even like, Willie and I socially, or when we go somewhere, I kind of like, oh, don't talk to me. Don't come near me. That smell, and I'm 47 years old, takes me somewhere. And I'm smart. I know I'm a smart person. I know what's right from wrong. I know where we're at, situational. I know how to get out of things, but it just takes me always to certain places, and I don't like it.
That's crazy.
And that's smell. So imagine sound, all of those things, they just take you places.
For the longest, I couldn't do 4th of July.
Oh my gosh.
And I had to drink to...
See? You were self-sabotaging that.
Yeah, there was a time where Lene said, I don't recall this, and I was at her parents' house, and they said I was running down the street, throwing myself in the floor.
Wow.
And what I think what was happening
combat
was I was reenacting when my friend died. And I was running towards him. And I don't remember none of this, but they were saying that I kept on yelling a name and that I kept on saying, like, we got to get him, we got to get him.
Wow. And they thought you were drunk, right? I'm sure they thought you were drinking.
I don't remember shit from this. I do remember the scars, like my knees were all fucked up and everything. But yeah, I could not. 4th of July would come and I would have this, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like, when your gut just drops, your stomach, like anxiety, nervousness.
I would anticipation.
Yeah, I would get this feeling. And I would never correlate, like, where was it coming from? It was kind of like, why do I feel this way during this time? And then I'll start hearing the pops, and it was just like, fuck, I got to drink. And I would just fucking drink and drink and drink.
But you were trying to numb it, right? Just
That's
go through it.
That's what it was. And it took me for a long time to get over that. And the way I sort of got over that is just attending more events and not drinking and sort of going through it, like putting myself there and learn how to enjoy that moment and learn how to like get my kids involved and have fun with them and see them react.
Yeah. What's being present, right? And not just going through the motions. I think a lot of people get stuck on just going through the motions of things and not like, okay, let me really go through this.
So would that be, the saying of dealing with your fears, going straight at it and seeing kind of what happens? Would that always be the right solution for everybody?
Well, it's being aware of reality, right? Like with you, realizing, okay, this is why I foresee 4th of July that way, right? But you switched it. It's like 4th of July is a time for family. It's seeing, fireworks are beautiful, right? Sharing this time with my family. And to me, it, like cognitive behavior therapy is what's causing the behavior, right? It's going straight. What's causing it, right? Or like going out with friends and let me drink before. What's causing that behavior? Maybe you not being this person, but you're pretending to be this person. Or being reactive to certain things. Well, why am I reactive? What's behind it? There is always something, people, behind everything. How we are, how we react, how we respond to things. And it's, why find out? Why go through life not finding out?
Can it be changed, and would that dictate your future?
Well, I mean, therapy comes into play. I'm a true believer in therapy. I think, a therapist doesn't fix you, right? I hate it when people say, or they have a negative connotation. Therapy is mental health. It's really making your mentality healthy. It's working out. It's like working out your brain. It's going through breakthroughs, right? Like that you had a breakthrough. Yeah. That's a perfect example. You realized that 4th of July had a different meaning and you separated the two, right? Okay, this is how I felt in combat. That takes me. It's time. Your brain couldn't differentiate sequencing, the time, things like that. But you're aware. And I think a lot of us need to start being aware of why we are a certain way. That's or true. How you talked about the girl that you interviewed. Like, I went through something like that where I would order 10 dresses to go to one event.
Wow.
And it's like, why? Why can't I be happy with 2, and this is just the way that I look. I can't compare myself.
Why would you get 10 dresses?
Because I felt I didn't look a certain way and I didn't fit in. But at the end of the day, I stopped worrying about that and I started embracing who I am and where I am. I can't compare myself to someone that's 20. It's impossible. And I love who I am and what I've been through.
Was it like, I'm going to buy this dress so I can look more like the younger crowd?
No, it had nothing to do with style. It was just, I wasn't comfortable in my own body based on what was in my head. But now I put whatever I want. I don't give a fuck if someone thinks I don't look good in it. I feel good in it.
Work it, girl.
Right? Hey, we need some work it music.
Where's the clap? Yeah. Well, I have to say, Christine, I seen you in dresses and, you know, I give it a 10.
Oh, let's get into the clap. Thank you. And I don't order 10 anymore. It's just, this is what I'm going to wear. I think every woman needs to get to that point in their life, right? Where
you just have to be comfortable, man. Like, you
confidence.
Know what? This year, I'm at that stage where I'm really like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, I have even fired clients. It's like, I'm going to start pursuing whatever the fuck I want. And it's amazing when your spouse or your partner, your significant other is on board with that. And obviously, you know that I have this whole creative side of me that I loved it. And, you know, I'm starting to explore that. I landed a 6-figure marketing contract with a big brand in El Salvador.
Awesome.
And it's sort of everything sort of aligning towards that. And, you know, I think that's the big disconnect between a lot of us, that we don't see ourselves achieving what we truly love, what we're passionate about, because we're too busy trying to fit into what society wants us to be.
It's so sad. I think confidence is a mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Confidence 100%. Is definitely a mindset. Like,
Did you ever have hard time being confident? Or
I've always been confident, to be honest. I went through, I've gone through different things, but I've always been confident as a woman, as a girl when I was, younger. But after my 3rd child, I lost that. Like, I kind of felt I was me in somebody else's body. It's weird. My brain was stuck on, this isn't you, instead of embracing where I was at in life. So it took me kind of shifting, and it's like, okay, come on, let's get this together. What is it? No one told you something. And yeah, I might have heard things here and there, but you can't take that personally.
Yeah.
You have to think about, how shallow is this person, first of all? And the only person you should really worry about is what you think of yourself.
So how does one truly start gaining that grit of themselves, of, understanding, of accepting it and realizing that, like you said, fuck, I had to have that talk with myself and realize that at the end of the day, it's what me says. It's what my spouse tells me. And this is why it's important to also have that support factor.
Yeah, you know on board.
Mm-hmm. Marriage is fucking hard.
Shit.
We're gonna go.
We really are gonna open the tequila right now. Emily, sácala.
We're gonna go deep.
Y la buena.
Marriage it's hard because you have to understand. Like, okay, let me word this right because my wife might hear this.
Lene,
are we gonna?
Aquí te lo aplaco, no te preocupes.
Are we gonna edit some parts of this?
No. Raw. We are raw.
No, nothing bad. Amor, if you're listening, you're hot, and I can't wait to make love to you tonight.
I know. TMI. Okay, we may have to edit that.
I think that in a marriage, what happens is, so this is one of the questions I got on my podcast.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear it, because I already know where this is going.
And I thought you'd be perfect for this to answer.
Somebody
said, what happens when your marriage starts getting boring?
I truly feel, and I actually talk about this at Gracefully FIERCE, marriage is a decision.
And by the way, Lene, I'm not talking about you. This was a question, because I have my perspective on this.
Yeah,
too.
Of course. I think marriage is a decision, right? I think, when you meet someone, right, los quieres conquistar, vice versa, you're attracted to them, and if you meet someone at their younger self, sometimes we have a distorted image of this person, because as people age, people change, right? You go through seasons, women go through pregnancy, and, there's people that are going to have a different opinion on that, but women go through so many changes mentally when it comes to, motherhood. But I feel that when you decide to marry someone or have a relationship, first of all, it's a commitment. You make a commitment. This world is full of beautiful women, handsome men, hot girls, sexy this, sexy that, whatever you want to call it. But what are you going to do if you see the next sexy person or the next hot person? You're just going to drop who you're with? It doesn't make sense. If you've been married for 20 years, it's okay. This is my wife. We've been married for 20 years. This is who I chose as my life partner. And do things to continue the romance. Is it going to be the same? Hell no. If someone tells you that, bring them on my podcast. I'll fucking interview them. It is something you do every day. Like, you might be mad today, or yesterday we might be mad, but today we're all lovey-dovey. Or tomorrow it's just business. Let's get this done. Like, the household is like in chinga. Where, okay, good night, give me a kiss. Or, we're footsies at night. Some type of touch. This is life. This is reality. And sometimes marriages, you become parents. That is your priority. You still love each other. Like, we just had our 9-year anniversary in April, and we're at dinner. I was like, are we good? Like, are we good? And he's like, you're checking in if we're good. Well, obviously we're good. We made it to 9. And it is that checking in. It's, like, I know he likes for me to cook for him. I'm going to continue to cook for him, right? Is there days where, we might not be as loving with each other? Yes, but that is normal. Marriage is not fairy tale.
Correct.
And yes, it's nice to watch a romantic movie or, chick flick, whatever you want to call it, but that's a movie.
Yeah.
It's not like that every day in someone's life. It just isn't.
Agree. And I think the other, scenario to this is the fact that you have to keep on making it interesting. And,
go on dates.
And it doesn't just fall on one person.
No, los dos.
It has to be both.
Yeah.
For example, like last night, and
let's not get graphic.
No.
You signed a waiver.
Lene showed up on, her.
No.
It's like I said, sometimes we get caught up with all the craziness going on in the world, and we fail to just show that appreciation to our partner, our loved ones, and I'm fault of that. And, I do accept that, and I understand that sometimes it's just been a crazy week.
Lene, are you listening?
I show
Te está
up,
declarando.
and, Lene is so amazing that sometimes she'll come up, she'll like hug me, and I just be
sweetheart.
like, because in our business, it's like,
pues si no la quieres, me la das, me la regalas y ya.
And so I'd be like, you know what, like, I'm just not in the mood right now, or this and that. And the fact that women are so adorable and amazing that...
Yes, okay, come on. Where's my audience?
Even with all that...
Again.
They'll still sit there. They'll still cook for you. They'll still take the time.
We could be pissed y les hacemos la pinche cena.
Yeah. And and they'll still give you a gesture, and, like, fuck. In the end of the day...
Nomás no les sirvo. I'll cook, pero no les sirvo.
No, Lene should be pissed and she still serve me.
I do too.
But we don't take the time to really appreciate that. So when I hear people tell me, like, or this guy that asked me goes like, well, how do you make it, like, what if it starts getting boring? I'm like, well, dude, honestly,
we should do something about it.
Well, this is what I wanted to respond. And for me, it upsets me because it's like, you're a fucking bitch, to be honest. What are you doing in your relationship that's making it boring? That's the real question. Like, what steps are you taking to actually fucking, challenge your wife in a way where you're making that relationship better, that marriage better? And if you're not doing that, then you're the fucking fucked up, and your wife deserves to fucking go out there and find somebody else. That's
pues tampoco, no, right? We've got to figure out what's happening.
And I'm gonna check guys right now, man. And some of you guys
are you listening? This. Thank you. At least we're not bashing women.
No, we're not, and we'll get to that. But what I'm saying is, a lot of the times, men are quick to point fingers without checking themselves first.
Right.
Like, the other common question I get is like, well, I'm doing great. I'm fucking killing it in my business. But I feel my wife is not, like, up there with me. Or we hear it a lot. Like, when we go to, like,
in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, the Driven or the 10X event, and guys would be like, how do I get my wife on board? Motherfucker, like, how do you fucking get your wife excited to get on board with you? Like, what are you doing differently to, like, put that perspective to them? So when I hear the word, like, my wife is just not challenging enough, or like, motherfucker, first of all, if your wife stepped up even 20% more than what you're at, she'll fucking dump your ass because she'll realize that your mindset is wrong.
And it's happening. It's happening,
It is.
right?
So I'm all for that. So when it comes to like us building,
Again, society. Let's do the sad one because this has to do with society. Do it. Come on. Get on it. Society is telling you, right? If this person isn't on board, you dump them.
Yeah.
No, that is wrong. You bring them on board by your way of being, by taking action, right? And it doesn't make the other person wrong if they don't come on board right away. It takes time. It took me years.
Listen, if you get on board and you start doing things the right way, your wife will become even 10 times more beautiful, not physically wise, just, you know,
as a person. Es que los hombres se pasan. No, let's be truthful here. Se pasan.
Let's just put it this way, man. And I'm gonna share this because I want this guy to listen to this because I think we might know him.
Should we say his name out loud?
I should put him on blast. But you know what happens is women are so strong. I mean, women, I have to give credit that they're the ones that you could get divorced and
Somos unas chingonas.
next day you're not worried about, oh, this motherfucker, this and that. You're already figuring shit out.
Oh, hell yeah.
Especially if you got kids. You're already like, okay.
Survival.
And I'm going to tell you something right now. For all you fucks out there that think that, oh, yeah, you know, well, fuck it. She's not at my level right now. So I'm going to go next to that
Chinguense.
that Instagram model that looks badass.
I think they're going to...
Nice car. They're going to take my man.
They're going to ban my podcast.
You know, what's going to happen is she's going to become 10 times better. Fucking better get looking, drive a better car than you, and make more money with you. And then you're going to realize, fuck, I fucked up. Because that young, hot chick in Instagram is not going to love you the same way this person does.
Here's the thing, and let's talk about the hot chick on Instagram. Son puros pinches filtros. Think about it.
So some are pretty.
Some are, yes. No, I gotta give it to them. Some are beautiful. It's just, it's their job, right? It's their living to, and some women are so beautiful. I think, you know, if a guy compares you to someone on Instagram, and there is a lot of fake on Instagram, then what does that tell you about that person?
Insecurity.
That's when I would tell the couple or the other person is, really? You're worried about this guy that's shallow enough to think this is real? Like, come on. To me, that's when I would evaluate that person because, you know, I don't look like Kim Kardashian. I don't look like J-Lo.
Like Kim Kardashian.
No.
Maybe J-Lo.
Yeah. She's beautiful, right? They're both beautiful. They're beautiful in their own way. But that's what makes them them. Like, I want to be Christine beautiful. I want to be Christine hot or Christine this, Christine that. Like, you know what I mean?
Is there such a celebrity that you told Willie, if I ever meet this guy and there's there an opportunity for a one-night stand? Definitely.
No, I've never done that because it's not going to happen. Well, it would be
theoretically William Levy.
I don't really think he's good looking. To me, he's kind of dorky.
I mean, I'm not gay, guys. I'm straight, but damn, you got a body. I have to say that.
No, I mean, no, I don't know.
Antonio Banderas.
No, I mean he's handsome, right? Tiene like, no.
Well, I told Lene if J-Lo ever hits me up, it's gonna happen. So.
Okay. Yeah. Just tell us after.
and you could watch. It's cool. Did you know that?
Oh no! ¿Quién invitó a este hombre?
Did you know?
¿Quién?
Did you know that a study showed that marriages after 50 years old. So if you're married and you're over 50, the chances of you having a threesome increase by 60%.
Oh my God. Where did you hear this from? Can we ban this guy? Okay, I don't want my podcast.
True facts. Well,
you read it?
Yeah, it's 100%.
Well, that's where the extra spice comes in, entonces?
Well, because in a marriage, you go through certain stages, right?
Yeah, of course.
And theoretically speaking, based on the study.
Okay, well, let me know when J-Lo comes over.
Well, the older you get, the lesser that sex drive becomes. So the study shows that for some older folks, the way they spice that back up was doing things out of the area. Number one was a threesome. Number two was toys. And number three was just watching exotic stuff while they're...
What did my podcast turn into? Yeah. This is women empowerment.
If you definitely
I know this is not empowering you women. Do not listen to him.
Listen,
I'm just kidding.
Ladies out there, if you want to spice things up, here you go. I'm gonna give you guys some insight here,
Oh my God.
all right?
Oh my God.
And your ratings are about to go off the roof right now.
I'm about to spit out my coffee, no por caliente, pero oh my God.
Well, at least Emily's taking notes, so I like that. She's not like, wait, hold on, JP, let me get
She's
my
like, Christine, we are not going to have this guy back on our podcast.
No, look, seriously, you cook for your husband, right?
So are we talking like in general, or this is you?
No, this is in general. Mine might be too explicit for this. But what I'm saying is, in general, you want to spice something up. You know, you just want to take that to the next level. Cook a nice dinner. You know, throw some rose petals in the bed.
Y le sacas otra persona.
No. We're gonna keep it. You know, we're gonna keep it good
PG.
here.
Let's keep it PG,
Yeah, we're
por
gonna keep it
favor.
PG.
Por favor.
You got some.
Tengo standards en mi podcast, eh?
Hey, you have Usher playing in the background.
Damn, Usher.
All right. You have him give you a nice massage. Maybe put on something sexy. Reenact like he just got back from the office. He's wearing his suit. And you're just like, baby,
Quitarle la corbata. I know. Are we thinking of a novela here or something?
Well, but what I'm saying is, like, people forget about the fact that things like
The little
that,
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make things fun again. You know, it's like now it's
Like try to be, funny but exciting.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I like that. I'll show up sometimes and Lene's like just there in a maid dress in the living room. And I'm like, oh,
Y los hijos los mandan a dónde los
no, we
mandan?
send them to the roof. Kids, be back in
In an hour.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, but hey, if we want to talk about true
Rules and regulations by JP on keeping the fire.
I mean, honestly, okay, and let's keep shit real. Emily might not know this, but when
Emily,
you
close
have,
your ears. Cover your ears.
when you have kids, having sex is not fucking easy anymore.
No.
It's not. See, so you got to get creative.
Can we get the little cosita that goes wah, wah, wah?
You can't. It's like, you know, kind of like, you know, like it's funny because you'll be eating and then she gives you the eye wink and you're just
Oh
like,
my God. Okay, wait a minute. Let's put a pause on that. We're gonna have to call this the Christine and JP show or something, because we could go on forever, right? These are really good pointers, JP. You should really.
I'm serious. Think about it. You're there. You're having dinner.
He's giving us a whole scenario here.
You get the whole eye wink, and then you kind of like wink back, but it's with a twitch because you're like, really? Where are we going to go? Like, you know, you can't.
Oh, my God.
You start with the footsie first.
Okay.
And then now it's getting really crazy. And depending on what you're eating, you know, if you're eating steak,
Oh,
it's kind of like,
no.
oh,
Okay. Explicit. We'll talk about this another day. I think you should have a whole podcast just on romance and yeah.
Are you cutting me off, Christine?
Yeah. No, not really. No.
There's no time limits when JP's here.
No. I was gonna say something, pero you took me somewhere else. Mira nomás. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, how we were talking about society and what that does even to marriage, right? It's that comparison. I think, you know, and I've talked about this before. Marriage at one point, you know, it's like you're married all these years and it's like just like that. They're ready to like call it quits instead of thinking, well, how did we get to this point? What happened? What did I do? What did you do? Not blaming the other person. And why is it so easy to walk away?
Well, self-evaluation, and most people don't do that. It's like in business. You're quick to fire somebody without fully doing a self-evaluation and asking yourself, okay, what did I do different? What could I have done? Did I train this person good enough? Did I put the right, you know, standards and procedures for this person before?
Well, standards. That word to me is so meaningful because what if you work at a workplace where there's a 25-year-old? Te ve that you're doing great, you're successful, you have your own office, but her standards are obviously fucked up. For her to even slightly think, let me get with this guy, meeting your wife, knowing you have children, to me, I'm sorry.
So who hired this person?
But that's not the point. That's not the point.
It is the point because I could tell a person like that the minute
I can too. Like that's why I do the hiring here also, right?
So they would never come work.
But what if you're at a place where this isn't your office and you work here? Think about that.
So
it happens.
You're an employee and she's also an employee. You just happen to be in the same workspace.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying it happens too much, and I think to me it says a lot about the standards of this woman, right? And as a man, right, a man is visual, si le están coqueteando, whatever. It comes to a point where obviously he should be in the right mind and know what's right from wrong, right? But at the same time, what does this say about this person?
Sorry, Christine is texting while talking.
No, sorry.
That's very disrespectful. Can you do the song like this?
Willie is texting us if you're hungry.
Emily, moving forward, please.
He's asking if you're hungry.
Do you know my
Be
podcast?
nice.
I don't allow phones.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe I should have that rule. Okay, pues.
That's it.
Pues que tengas hambre entonces.
Who do I call HR here?
I am HR.
Oh, shit.
My podcast, my office, my rules.
So going back to that point, it's interesting because
it's happening. It's happening way too much. And again, marriage needs to be, I don't want to say stronger. Marriage needs to be more meaningful, and it shouldn't be taken lightly.
Well, nowadays, marriage is just, the way I see it, new generation, new people getting married, it's more like, well, they just want us to be together. It is what it is, so on and so forth. So it's a lot, as generations go, I think that word actually gets diminished a bit more versus, our generation and generations before that was a very powerful meaning.
Yeah.
It meant a lot more than just being with somebody.
Through storms, through thick and thin, through pobrezas, money, not money, even infidelity. Marriages survived that because marriage was sacred.
So I'm not saying you, Willie, but you're married, your husband cheats on you. Do you still give him
Lo mato. No, yo lo mato. There goes my Pisces killer. No, yo sí lo mato. I wouldn't.
So you wouldn't give him a second chance?
My word.
So your marriage is not strong enough where you would say, you know what?
Listen, it is. But again, if he were to slip, then that means he wasn't strong enough.
But you're strong enough to and fight for your marriage and say, you know what? Just don't let it happen again.
No, it will happen again. I truly don't believe that it won't happen again. When people say that, I don't know. I'm just that girl. I would never trust him.
Did you ever have a boyfriend cheat on you?
Not that I know of. Not that I ever knew of.
I like that.
Yeah. Not that I found out or we broke up because he cheated. Never.
Did you know that on that same poll that I read, women cheat more than men?
Maybe. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who knows, right? I think, it's like debating and all of that, but I think the most important thing is knowing who you're with, right? Because if you don't know who you're with, who you're married to, like, that's a problem to me.
So on that poll, women cheat the most, and the number one reason why they cheat was financials.
I mean,
I don't think it means financials as their gold diggers. Financials as that foundation, that structure of feeling safe in a way. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it means. And I can probably, I think
if women do cheat, it's revenge.
Really?
I truly do feel that. It's revenge.
I mean, shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm so pissed off, I'm just going to go.
No, it's maybe, it's that instant gratification of, oh, you fucked up, then I'm going to fuck up too.
So guy cheats, therefore she's going to go do it because she cheats.
Most likely.
I figured I would just leave. But I would understand the fact that, so this is why I say I could understand the fact that somebody would cheat, because their value is not being appreciated. Not because they wake up in the morning and say,
well, you probably think it's going to make you feel better. Like, okay, you did it, now I'm going to do it too.
Well, not in that. So think of it this way. So you're married. Mm-hmm. This guy's just comfortable, not fully, you're out there, you're hustling, you're a go-getter. Mm-hmm. And then you get exposed to somebody that introduces you to a whole different way of thinking. And what if that's sexy enough? Not the fact that he looks sexy, but what the fact that, wow, mentally it's stimulating.
But that's a distorted version or mentality of what you think is at the moment. That's not reality. Like, we could be in a room, right? Perfect example.
For that person.
What if we're all here, people are talking, and you think like, damn, she's smart, that's sexy.
No, but proven facts. You see it. Like, I'm talking this, for example, right? I think number 4 was women cheating with a boss. I forgot what number 1 was. Number 4 was like, I remember that clearly because I thought of like how I met Lene. She used to work for me.
I know.
But, you know, when I was thinking this, I'm like, okay, maybe in a way where they see this every day, they see this guy successful, they see that this guy's on top of it, then they're like, fuck, can I go home? And this guy's like a deadbeat, come home, drinks every night, not really doing anything, fucking, we're going broke here, I'm the only one working. That's going to give them a sense of different experience of what can be achievable versus what they have at home. And if there's only one person willing to put in the work and not the other one, then she says, you know what?
Well, that's a choice because, you know, perfect example, Willie and I went through that, right? You know, we went through the market crash.
Left him.
He was depressed. I did not say I'm leaving you. There's a lot to the story. Let's get to that. And I didn't cheat on him. No, it wasn't like, let me leave this guy because he's not working and he's not doing this and he's not doing that. My love for him and for our relationship, our daughter, and what we had built was bigger than that notion of success or what it needs to look like. I think that's when your standards come into play. Like, what do you want? I didn't want to just be with the guy because he was successful. I wanted to be with someone that loved me, that made me feel secure, that we could build something with. So I would think you'd have to evaluate that other person.
But you took action. But see, that's where you come in a different plate because you're one of those that, like I told you from the beginning.
I'm one of those.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, this is not fucking working. I'm fucking moving on to something else. And you take that aggressive approach where some other people might not be strong enough because you got to think of it this way. Like, one foot is still in because of that comfort, that love, what they feel is love.
Yeah.
And the other side is, well,
I got to get out.
What if? Like, damn, what else is out there? Like, and if we look at Latino marriages, for example, you know, I've known people that their parents, dude, not to mention names, but I personally know people that the husband was a straight out machista, like, fuck no, like, super, like, you can't do nothing. It has to be my way or the highway type thing. And it's sort of kind of like the family's on their side because it's, well, yeah, that's your husband. You got to stay with him. But at the same time, they're like, fuck, but I could achieve so much more. I could do this. I could go out there and get this
that's
done.
a generational distortion, right? Are you going to be the one to break that cycle? And at that point, making that decision, your life is more important than what other people think.
But that's why they cheat, because they're too scared to leave. They have the family against them.
I think if someone cheats on a situation like that, is that person didn't love you enough or didn't show you. Like, to me, I'm a true believer, and, you know, I've gone to therapy. Nothing should ever be forced, right? If you're working on this and trying and forgiving and a second chance and a third chance, 100 chances, at one point, you do need to move on. Right? Like, why would you stay? I would have never stayed if I felt, you know, he was being selfish and not caring at all about us. Why would have I? What would I be holding on to? So you have to ask yourself, why do I want this so bad? Is it what it looks like? Is it what I'm feeling? There's certain questions that you have to ask yourself. Yeah.
I cheated on a girl once, I remember.
I know. Can we do do we have a cabron one?
No, but
we need to put that on there. Can we create one?
You know, now that I'm more mature, I think things differently, and I think,
well, of course,
I think that it was kind of me bitching out on it versus me having a boss just to tell her I didn't want to be with her. But her family was great. I loved her family, and I think I needed that at the time because I had just gone through all my surgeries from my rack, and I was in a really bad space. So I felt that comfort, that love from her family, and I knew that relationship was not going to go anywhere. I just didn't have the balls to tell her. So it was kind of like I would go there because of the comfort, the love from the family, but I didn't want to be with you. And I felt like shit when I cheated on her because I felt that, damn, like now I kind of...
Well, you cared enough about her to hurt her feelings, right? Or the typical guy, it's not you, it's me. Really, pendejo? Like, how many guys say that to a girl? It's not you, it's me. Like, fuck you. Figure something else to say. Like, come on.
Yeah, you know, most guys would.
Well, say that when,
Yeah.
motherfucker, it is you. Like,
Yeah.
really. You know what I mean?
What was the best line you ever got when you broken up with somebody?
Oh, you mean when they broke up with me?
Yeah. Did you do the breaking up or they broke up with you?
With one guy, I remember he always wanted to do something new. And whenever he wanted to do something, whether it was a new career, move somewhere else, he'd always break up with me.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, it's not you, Chris. You're perfect. You'll always be my sweetheart. Like, you know, it's like, really, motherfucker? Then why am I in the way, right? And I think I'm glad, like, now that you think about that, I think about it, I wouldn't be here, right? Like, I think sometimes they're doing you the favor, but they're making it seem like, I'm sorry, it's not you, but they're still breaking up with you. When realistically it's saying, you know what? I don't know what I want in my life. I'm a bit scattered. I'm not sure what I want for my future. So therefore, I'm not going to fucking string you along. That's it. Learn, guys. Just say, I don't want to string you along. Or I don't love you enough to have you go through what I need to go through. That's it. It's bottom line.
Damn. Yeah.
I think we're going to end it with that one.
We don't need to put a clap for that.
No, that was a good one. Think about it. Why go through the bullshit? And then, no. You know what? They call you a month later. And then this.
Hey,
but it wasn't until I said, hey, I'm worth more than that,
Everybody's
honey.
shaking her head like she just got dumped last week or something.
No, think about it. So many women go through years of relationships like this because, you know, they call you, I do love you, and blah, blah, blah.
And they get back together.
And they get back together. At the end of the day, it shouldn't take someone 5 fucking years, 6, 7, 10. Are you the one or not?
But that's that comfort. That's what I'm telling you. They get
La
comfort,
costumbre es más grande que el amor,
and
right?
They feel like, well, I have to be with this person.
Well, then that's when the woman would have to say, you know what? Are we doing this or are we doing this? And again, every relationship is different. Some people don't want to get married. That is okay. Yeah. But we're in a relationship. We're in this commitment, right? Because there's that piece of paper doesn't stop people from cheating. That piece of paper doesn't stop people from hurting each other. So it's more than that. But we're going to have to do part 3.
I thought you booked me for like 2 hours, 3 hours.
No, I'm not cutting you off. I'm just saying, like, this is good. Like,
See,
we should keep doing this.
When I was at Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, my God.
No, I think you're right. Absolutely right. And, you know, well, I always got dumps. So I know it's hard to believe, right? Emily did the wow, wow, wow. And I was a good kid. I was the good guy. But I think that was the problem, that a lot of girls did not like the good guy. They wanted the bad boy. They wanted the this and that. So I was that guy that almost every week, that's why I can relate to John now. I haven't told him this, but John always tells me, Dad, no girl wants to go out with me. I was like, fuck, he's just like me. He's like a hopeless romantic. I was that one young kid that was like, oh my God, like I want to just sing to girls and bring flowers. And I would do the poems, you know, with the little, used to like.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
I was creative as hell. But you know how.
The little papelitos?
Yeah,
what were they called?
Fold them to like the hearts or whatever. And then it'd be like, oh my God, it's just you're too nice. And sorry it didn't work out. And I'd be like, fuck, what the fuck?
Es que a las mujeres les gusta la mala vida. Les gusta que las maltraten some way, somehow. Right?
Hey, you know what? But it was all worth it. Porque ahora mira, Linnea, wow. And see?
Te rayaste.
There you go. See, like she
Te rayaste.
She got her príncipe, her Romeo Santos, you know.
Wow.
But you're absolutely right. You know, I think that's the thing. And with most guys, it's just like, to be quite honest, and I'm gonna just say it how it is. It's like you got the girls that you just want to fuck around with. You got the girls that you want to like, okay, I really like her, but I still want to have my cake on the side. And then eventually you don't realize that you get to that step where, holy shit, like, I just asked this girl to propose to me, but did I do that because I fucked up and I did it out of guilt? Or was it because I truly love this person? And by the time you figure out that answer, sometimes it's too late. You're involved way too deep, and that's why they start fucking up.
Well, I think the key to this is if you go through relationship after relationship and it's not working because it's the same type of person you're looking for, you need to look opposite. Think about it. And that one therapist told me that. He's like, I understand that you've been used to this, but look opposite. And we tend to not, right? Like the girl doesn't want the nice guy. Why? it just happens, right? But the nice guy's the one that's going to give you an amazing life. He's always going to treat you like you are his.
Take notes.
You are his everything.
Can we do a clap for that?
Yeah, it's safe, right? They love you. And I'll never forget, my high school track coach said, you should always be with someone that loves you more than you love them. Like, that was his thing. Like, that was his, like, key to having a successful...
But Willie was a bad boy. I mean, the guy was throwing parties in Pasadena, people jumping off the roof.
I know, that's a different story. But, yes, he was that guy, but I was used to...
But was that what attracted you to him? You
no, not at all.
Like,
not at all. Money has never attracted me.
No, not money. Maybe.
Someone's success.
What was it about him that, you know...
You know, he like, whoever did, you know... pretendientes que tenía, whoever liked me, they were like overly pretendientes, and to me it's like, I don't like it when you try too hard, or when you're talking to someone then they try to put the hand on the waist. Like, that would bug me the shit out of me. Like, ew, don't do that. I didn't like the try too hard. He didn't try too hard. He was just like, I'm cool, like I'm suave, like, and then
so he made you work.
Not really, but come on, shut up.
I like that. Props to Willie for that.
You know, a guy will call you like right then and there, right after you leave or you left the club. They're calling you whatever. He waited 2 days to call me. We had the 2-day rule. Well, he's like, I'm going to take you out tomorrow. Let's go out tomorrow. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
and
so you guys met at a club?
No, at his house.
Oh, okay.
He says I crashed his party, but I didn't. My sister invited me. Anyway, he didn't call me the next day. I was like, why didn't he call me? He said we were going to go to lunch. And I was like, over here, like, oh my God, now it's Monday. He still hasn't called. So he wasn't that typical guy that would have called me like that same night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was different about him. Like, he was just very, how can I say, very confident, very sure of himself, that I think other guys that I dated, or like right away, they showed too much attention.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, he already likes me. That's easy.
And guys, that's a great point right there. Sometimes, you know, take a step back.
Yeah, take some time.
I mean, a girl's never gonna come up to you and hit you up. That's one thing. You just gotta work on your approach, and you know, it's not the same as like, yo,
don't be too strong.
Like, damn.
I think when a guy comes off too strong, you're already like, dude, you're a little too desperate. Like, come on. And I've told other guys that when I hear, like, this weekend, I heard someone being a little too strong with someone, and I was like, you know why she's not, responding to you, being responsive? You're trying way too hard.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just learn how to communicate, meaning it doesn't...
It's subtle. It has to be subtle.
Yeah, like one thing I learned, I'll give you guys some feedback, and you tell me this is a true or not. Like, most women, especially if they're good looking, they don't like you coming up to them.
The attention.
Like, oh my God, you're hot. Or like, oh my God, this and that. Like,
that's the guy I wouldn't talk to ever.
Yeah. Instead, point something out that she has, or that's going to intrigue her in a way that's going to open up a conversation. That's going to be more attractive versus you coming up and like, damn, girl, like.
I think guys think women want that so bad, like the lines.
Yeah.
I would kind of, like, one guy, he's like, you're like, are you stuck up? And I was like, I'm not stuck up. It's just what you're telling me is like, come on, dude, come on. I didn't like that.
Was this recently? Damn, Christine, you still getting hit up? Look at that.
Quiet.
Let's get the clap for that. I still get hit up at Equinox by guys. I don't know. I know. Fuck, dude. These guys like fluffy guys. I'm like, dude, like, really?
I think a woman just needs to get her standards straight. Like, you know, like, I was the type of girl who I always had money in my purse to buy my drink. I didn't go out expecting.
So is that offensive if you're like, you know, not, let's say you were not married, you're at a bar and a guy comes up to you and let me buy you a drink.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, back then it depends. Like, if we're around friends and somebody wanted to buy a round, fine. But at one point, if they're trying too hard and it was just one guy, I'd be like, dude, I can buy my own drink. I don't need you to buy me a drink. I was always that girl.
I want to role play this. We're at a bar right now.
Oh my God. No, we're not.
You're about to purchase a drink. And I walk up next to you. I tap you on the shoulder. And you're wearing that hat you're wearing.
Oh my God, I'm blushing.
And I say, excuse me. That blue brings out your blue in your eyes.
Wow, but I don't have blue eyes.
I know. Must be the drink you're drinking. Can I buy you a second one?
Oh my God. I would say, thank you. That's really sweet of you, but I just ordered a drink.
See? Well, can you buy me a drink?
Or look at perfect example. We're at the airport on my way to Mazatlan. Our flight screwed.
It was recently in Mazatlan.
Ridiculous, right? The airport in Tijuana, or my experience. And these two older men, you know, I don't want to say viejitos. They were older, going on a fishing trip. They saw three of us. They're like, oh, you know, what happened? You guys are waiting for your flight. No, our flight got delayed, blah, blah, blah. And he asked me, like, well, where are you guys going? I said, oh, we're going to Mazatlan. I mean, it's just simple conversation. And I said, but it seems like we're going to be here a while. He's like, you know, I want to buy you guys around. I said, oh, thank you. That's really nice of you, but you don't have to. He's like, it's okay. I'd love to. And I said, thank you. And that was it. It was simple. There's nothing more to it. He turned around and continued his conversation with his friend because it was just that. I didn't take it weird or it's like, oh my God, what a creeper. I'm going to say no. It was just, he was just being a nice man. And he had already told the bartender, like, around for them.
And that's common.
And that's it.
And that's normal. It's common. It's going to happen. That doesn't necessarily mean that. You know.
No, it doesn't. I think it depends how it's done. That's just it.
I just think that the approach has changed so much from when we were younger.
Yeah, like these lines.
Way different. You know, for us, it was like, I remember if I liked a girl, I would like give my friend a letter and be like, please give it to her. And then I would wait a week to see if she responded. And then I get that letter and you get that feeling and you run home and you're like, I can't wait to read it. And you read it and she'd be like, no, I don't like you. You're like, fuck.
Just some lines are ridiculous. I remember, what was that one place on Hollywood? Dublin's. What was across Dublin's?
In Hollywood?
Yeah.
Dublin's.
It was right across the street. There were like two popular bars.
Florentine Gardens?
No, not Florentine Gardens. I don't remember. But it's like, I remember I was dancing with my friend and someone said, are you okay? Are you hurt? And I'm like, what do you mean?
Did you fall out of heaven?
Yeah. And he's like, oh no.
Oh man.
God's missing an angel. And I looked at him. I said, oh my God, que pendejo. I think that's a little too.
That's bad.
That is really bad, right? Like
really
probably
bad.
the cheesiest line you had asked me. What was it? It was probably that one.
Oh my God, that's really bad. Mm-hmm. That's really bad. That's not.
And it's like, sorry, dude. Sorry. So sorry. It's not happening.
Wow. Emily, I hope you took notes of that one. Don't respond to somebody to tell you that.
But I want everyone to really think about what they want. Like, what are your standards, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s? What do you want in a relationship? And I really don't think it's that hard to find. It's just, what are you putting out there? And also, what are you allowing? Let's actually, that's a message I want to leave you guys with is, what are you allowing in your relationships? Why are you not having successful relationships? Facts. That's it.
Yep.
No, there is no secret here. There is no secret formula, and I don't want to say it's not rocket science. It's just, what do you want? Value yourself more. And what are your standards? Standards are huge. Yep. Huge to me.
SOPs for a marriage. Very important. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good note to finish on.
SOPs?
Yeah.
¿Qué es eso?
Procedures.
Oh, okay. SMPs.
Or military would say
SOPs. Okay, standards and procedure. Okay, you guys heard it from the one and only JP. Standards and procedures. I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to give our audience any recomendación?
No.
Besides all the.
We're gonna have to.
That was like a nightcap.
We're gonna have to come back and get in more details.
You know what? We should do a couples one.
I'd be down to do it.
Wouldn't that be fun? That would be a good serie. La serie de los, what would we call it?
La Truth and Dare.
No. That's a little too nighttime.
We could just spin the bottle.
Nighttime. That's sexy time. What would we call it? Couples. ¿Cómo se dice en español? Why can't I think of the word?
En español? Couples?
Sí.
Parejas,
eso. Se me pasó. Maybe something like that. I think that would be very interesting. And then we could make it live and have callers.
You know what? We should have like a bucket of questions.
I like that. Emily, let's work on that one for the next one.
Each couple picks one out, and then
Ay, no. Mejor no. Let's change the rules.
hey, it could be like the time we were playing charades, remember, in Arizona.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. Fun times. We need another trip.
Willie and his guessing was hilarious.
Oh, I know. Okay, guys, so here is part 2 with Mr. JP Peña, the one and only. I love having you on. I think, the conversation flows. I think that's what makes, a podcast great. It's just having that conversation. There's nothing uncomfortable. There's nothing written. There's no script. I think that's what makes it even better.
Yeah.
And we both came with our Dodger gear today. So that's right. Emily, come on, the clapping. So thank you guys for listening in. Please send us questions. Let me know what else you want to hear. If there's certain topics, please, and continue to listen to Así o Más Claro. I really want you guys to understand that, we just need to be clear about what we want.
Facts.
Right?
Yes.
Anything you want to say?
No, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. I love it. It's kind of like a not only a therapy session for me.
Because I taught you about the brain, the cortex, and the basal ganglia.
You know what? But it's a good flow. Like you said, it's a good flow. And, I want to, bring as much as I can to this platform of yours and help your audience grow it. And, can't wait to see you go all the way to the top.
Thank you. I think I need a second invitation to yours.
Let's do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.